I'll never forget that Friday night, the way the storm raged outside my window, thunder cracking like fate itself was laughing at me, rain pelting the glass in relentless sheets that blurred the city lights into a hazy glow. I was alone in my small apartment on the 5th floor of an old brick building, the kind with creaky wooden floors and walls so thin you could hear the neighbors' muffled arguments or laughter seeping through. I'd been feeling off all week, tired, achy, like a flu was coming on, but I chalked it up to stress from my dead-end job at the library, shelving books and dealing with grumpy patrons. Nothing prepared me for what happened. After a hot shower to ease the aches, steam filling the tiny bathroom like a fog, I wrapped a towel around my waist and wiped the mirror clear. What stared back wasn't me. Not Ethan, the 26-year-old guy with broad shoulders, a stubbly jaw from lazy shaving, and short-cropped brown hair that always stuck up in the back. Instead, a woman looked out from the glass, soft, rounded curves where my flat chest had been, hips wider and flaring out, waist narrower and defined, skin smoother and paler than I'd ever known, without a trace of body hair. My hands flew to my face in disbelief, cheekbones higher and more pronounced, lips fuller and naturally pink, eyes the same piercing blue but now framed by longer, darker lashes that made them seem larger, more expressive. "No, this can't be," I gasped, my voice coming out higher, softer, like silk sliding over skin instead of my usual gravelly tone. Panic surged through me, a hot and cold wave all at once, my heart slamming against ribs that felt smaller, more delicate. I dropped the towel, staring in horror at the changes below. Everything familiar was gone, replaced by feminine forms I couldn't even begin to comprehend or name without my mind reeling. "This isn't real," I whispered to the mirror, my new voice echoing strangely in the tiled space. I pinched my arm, the pain sharp and immediate, no dream dissolving. Disbelief crashed over me like the thunder outside. How could this happen? A freak medical accident? Some rare hormonal disorder I'd read about online? Or something supernatural, a curse from that weird antique mirror I'd bought at a flea market last month? I touched my new body tentatively. The skin was sensitive, electric under my fingers, sending shivers up my spine. Fear clawed at my throat, tight and unrelenting. What if this was permanent? What would people say? My friends, family, co-workers? How would I explain? But beneath the terror, buried deep like a secret I didn't want to admit, a tiny spark of curiosity flickered to life. What would it feel like to move in this body? To dress it? To see the world through these eyes? I wrapped myself in my oversized robe, now hanging loose on my smaller frame, the fabric swallowing me up, and paced the living room, the floorboards creaking under feet that seemed daintier, steps lighter. Internal thoughts raced wildly. "You're hallucinating. Call a doctor." But, look at that reflection again. She's, me? Beautiful, in a way. What does this mean? The storm outside mirrored the chaos in my mind, lightning flashing and illuminating the stranger in every reflective surface. The window, the TV screen. I sank onto the couch, knees weak, tears streaming down my cheeks, fear of the unknown overwhelming, but that curiosity whispering insidious promises of discovery. Little did I know, fate had switched me into this new form, and this weekend would unravel my entire sense of self, forcing me to confront truths I'd never imagined. The shock carried into Saturday morning, the sun breaking through the clouds in mocking brightness, streaming through the blinds and casting striped patterns on the rumpled bedsheets where I'd barely slept. I woke hoping it was all a nightmare, but no, the body was still hers, still mine, the changes undeniable as I shifted and felt the unfamiliar weight and curves. Daily life, once a predictable routine of coffee, commute, and work, became an immediate minefield of disruption and dread. I had to go to work. Calling in sick would raise questions, and I wasn't ready for that. My job at the local library was quiet, unassuming, shelving books, helping patrons find titles, organizing the kids section. But suddenly, it felt like stepping onto a stage under spotlights. "Okay, Ethan, or whoever you are now, figure this out," I thought, rummaging through my closet with trembling hands. Nothing fit right. My shirts hung loose on narrower shoulders, pants sagged at the hips and bunched at the ankles. In desperation, I grabbed an old oversized hoodie from the back, zipping it up to hide the curves, and sweatpants that I cinched tight with the drawstring. Makeup? I didn't have any, but my face looked naturally feminine, no stubble to worry about, skin flawless and glowing without effort. My hair had grown inexplicably longer overnight, reaching my shoulders in soft waves. I tied it into a ponytail with a rubber band from the kitchen drawer. Stepping out into the hallway, the air felt colder, more exposing, as if every draft was judging me. Neighbors glanced as I passed. Old Mrs. Ramirez from 5B did a double-take in the elevator.
Ethan?
You look different.
Lose some weight. And your hair.
Her eyes narrowed suspiciously, scanning me up and down. Yeah, new diet, I mumbled, my voice still high and betraying me, embarrassment burning my cheeks like fire.
She hummed doubtfully but said nothing more as the doors opened.
On the bus to work, stares multiplied, whispers from seats behind. Is that a guy or a girl? Kinda pretty either way. The social tension thickened the air, making it hard to breathe. I kept my head down, hood up, but felt every eye like a spotlight. At the library, my boss, Mr. Hale, frowned behind the circulation desk as I clocked in. Ethan, you sound like you have a cold. And your hair, extensions? You trying out a new look? His tone was a mix of concern and confusion, eyebrows raised. Dialogue stumbled out of me. Just experimenting, sir. Feeling a bit under the weather. He shrugged, but I caught coworkers whispering in the break room later. He looks like his own sister, if he had one. Weird phase. Fear knotted my stomach tighter with every interaction, amplifying the confusion swirling in my head. Shelving books in the fiction aisle, a regular patron, an elderly man named Mr. Thompson, asked for help. Miss, where's the mystery section? Ethan usually helps me.
Miss. The word hit like ice water down my back.
This way, sir, I said, leading him, my walk feeling awkward and unnatural, hips swaying unintentionally from the new center of gravity. He thanked me without a second glance, but the slip-up left me reeling. Friends texted during lunch break. Brunch tomorrow? You in? From my buddy Mark. Can't. Feeling sick, I replied, the lie tasting bitter, guilt mixing with the panic of potential discovery. Family was worse. Mom called midday while I hid in the staff bathroom.
Honey, how's your weekend going?
Dad and I are worried about you living alone in that tiny apartment. Her voice was warm, full of maternal concern. I tried deepening my tone as best I could. Fine, Mom.
Just busy with work. But it cracked on the last word.
You sound so off, like you've got a sore throat. Are you coming over Sunday for dinner? No, I can't, I snapped, fear spiking at the thought of her seeing me like this. Hanging up, the emotional struggle. Peaked, embarrassment at every glance and whisper, confusion over this body's signals and how it moved, fear of rejection from those I loved most. Lunch in the nearby park was no respite. People stared openly. A kid pointed from his mother's side. Mummy, is that a boy dressed as a girl?
Whispers followed me back to the library.
Awkward situations piled on. Spilling coffee in the break room, hands trembling so badly the mug slipped. A co-worker, Lisa, helping clean up and saying, You okay? You seem different today. By shift end, I was emotionally drained, rushing home as the sun set, the disruption to my normal life total and unrelenting, routines shattered, relationships strained by lies, emotions a raw, tangled mess. Yet, in the quiet of the apartment, that curiosity lingered, urging me to explore rather than hide. That night, with the apartment wrapped in darkness save for the soft glow of a single desk lamp casting long shadows across the walls and furniture, I finally gave in to the secret exploration that had been building all day. The storm from the previous night had passed, leaving a hush outside, the occasional drip from the eaves the only sound, but inside my mind, a tempest of curiosity raged. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I needed to understand this new body, this switched fate. Just try it, I whispered to myself, my voice echoing softly in the empty room as I stood before the full-length mirror propped against the bedroom wall. Curiosity had overpowered the fear, at least in this private space. I wanted to experiment with this identity, see what it meant to be her, to be me now. Starting small, I stripped down completely, the cool air raising goosebumps on my sensitive skin, every inch feeling alive and new. Touching tentatively at first, running fingers over the soft curves of my breasts, the flare of hips, the smooth planes of my stomach. The sensations were electric, intimate, a mix of vulnerability and wonder. This is me now. My internal dialogue raced, excitement stirring amidst a flush of embarrassment at the strangeness. Clothes came first. My old boxers felt wrong, baggy and ill-fitting on this form. Raiding the laundry basket for forgotten items from an ex-girlfriend who'd left some things behind, lace-trimmed panties in soft pink. Slipping them on, the fabric was smooth and hugging, sending tingles up my thighs, a sensory whisper that made me gasp. Next, a matching bra, fumbling with the clasp at the back until it hooked, the support lifting and shaping, creating a silhouette that felt both foreign and right. The lace tickled slightly, a constant reminder of the femininity. Now, for something more, a simple black dress from her old stash in the closet, knee-length with a fitted bodice and flowing skirt. Zipping it up, the material clung softly to my curves, the hem brushing my legs with every movement. Wow, I thought, twirling slowly in front of the mirror, the skirt flaring out like a flower blooming, the reflection showing a woman who looked poised, alluring. Makeup was next, improvised with what little I had. A travel kit she'd left, with basics. Foundation first, dotted on my face and blended with fingers, smoothing over the already flawless skin, adding a subtle glow. This enhances everything. Excitement built as I saw the incremental change. Concealer under the eyes to brighten, powder to set it matte. Eyeshadow from a small palette, neutral beiges at first, then blending in shimmery golds for depth, the brush soft against my lids. Eyeliner pencil, drawing careful lines along the lash line, smudging for a smoky effect after a few wobbly attempts and wipes with tissue. Mascara wand coating my lashes, lengthening them dramatically, making my eyes pop with intensity. Blush on the apples of my cheeks, a rosy flush that brought life. Lipstick in a nude shade, outlining and filling, the waxy texture strange but the result full and inviting. The mirror now showed a complete transformation. Features enhanced, the woman staring back confident and beautiful.
For the wig?
I didn't have one, but my hair had mysteriously lengthened further, now past my shoulders. I brushed it out with a comb, parting it to the side, waves cascading naturally. Voice practice followed. I recorded myself on my phone app. Hello, starting deep but forcing it higher, softer. Hi, I'm Eva. Playback revealed the need for adjustment, add a lilt, a gentle rise at the end. Repeating, it sounded more natural, feminine. Behavior experimentation, walking across the room, first in bare feet, then improvising heels with my old boots stuffed with socks for lift, practicing grace, heel to toe, hips swaying subtly after watching a quick mental recall of women I'd seen.
The click on the floor became rhythmic, empowering.
Internal thoughts swirled. This feels liberating.
Scary, but exciting.
Like unlocking a door I didn't know was there. Incremental discoveries piled on. How contouring with a darker powder slimmed my jawline. How the dress's fabric whispered against my skin with every move. How jewelry from her box, clip-on earrings, a simple necklace, added weight and sparkle. The metal cool on my collarbone. Perfume spritzed from a sample bottle. Notes of musk and vanilla enveloping me in a cloud. Excitement peaked as I posed in the mirror, hand on hip, coy smile. Then danced lightly to music from my phone, the body moving fluidly, gracefully in ways my old form never did. Laughter bubbled up, light and feminine, a thrill at each small success. Nailing the eyeliner wing, mastering a sway without stumbling, voice resonating authentically. But embarrassment flickered in moments. What if someone knew I was enjoying this? Yet it faded quickly, curiosity pushing me further. By the early hours, exhaustion finally claimed me, but the private explorations had sparked a fire, small discoveries building into a profound sense of possibility. Sunday dawned with clearer skies, the sun filtering through the windows in golden beams, and with it came a surge of personal growth through bold experimentation beyond the apartment's safety. I'd committed to this switched fate for the weekend. Now was the time to test it in the world. If I'm doing this, let's go out there, I decided, heart fluttering with a potent mix of anxiety and anticipation. Outfit chosen carefully. A flowy skirt in light blue from the ex's clothes, paired with a white blouse that buttoned up modestly, a cardigan for extra coverage, and comfortable flat side adjusted to fit. Makeup kept subtle, dewy foundation, light mascara to enhance the lashes, a tint of gloss on the lips, for a natural, everyday look. Hair styled in loose waves, falling freely. Stepping out the door, the lock clicking shut like a point of no return. The fresh air hit my face, carrying scents of blooming flowers from the building's small garden and fresh-baked bread from the bakery downstairs. First destination. The neighborhood park, a sprawling green space with winding gravel paths, wooden benches under oak trees, and families picnicking on the grass. Anxiety knotted my stomach as I walked, the skirt swishing with each step, flat stable on the sidewalk, but the breeze on my legs felt freeing. What if someone recognizes the old me? The thought looped, pulse quickening. But as I entered the park, birds chirping overhead and children laughing in the distance, people seemed oblivious. Joggers passed without a glance, dog walkers focused on their pets. I sat on a bench, pretending to read a book I'd grabbed from home, observing the world. A woman with a stroller approached, smiling warmly.
Mind if I sit?
It's such a lovely day. Not at all, I replied softly, my practiced voice steady. We chatted about the weather, her baby, nothing deep, but the interaction felt normal, validating. No suspicion, just human connection. Small victory. The anxiety eased slightly, confidence inched up like the sun climbing higher. I stood and walked the paths, trees rustling in the wind, leaves crunching underfoot. Strangers nodded politely, a couple on a bench smiled as I passed. Excitement began to blend with the lingering anxiety, like adrenaline fueling our adventure. Afternoon shifted to a local cafe outing, the aroma of fresh coffee and pastries drawing me in from the street. The place was moderately crowded, tables occupied with laptop users typing away and friends chatting over mugs. I ordered at the counter, 1 mocha, please, the barista nodding without hesitation. Name for the order? Eva, I said, the name rolling off my tongue naturally now. When it was ready, mocha for Eva. Handed over with a enjoy, miss.
Miss.
The word sent an electric thrill through me, a small win that boosted my spirits. Sitting at an outdoor table, sipping the hot drink, foam clinging to my lip, I people watched, feeling seen but not scrutinized. A guy at the next table struck up casual conversation. That looks good, the mocha. First time here. Yes, it's delicious, I smiled back, engaging lightly about the menu. No awkwardness, just friendly banter that left me buzzing. Internal shift was palpable. Comfort in this new persona, Eva feeling more real than a disguise, excitement now outweighing the anxiety like a scale tipping. Evening brought even bolder experimentation. A street market nearby, booths lined with handmade crafts, fresh produce, and food trucks, crowds milling under string lights as dusk fell. The energy was vibrant, music playing from a busker's guitar. I mingled, browsing stalls, interacting with vendors. How much for this scarf? I asked one, voice confident. $10, it suits your style perfectly, she replied, wrapping it up. Haggling a bit, laughing together. A group of women at a jewelry booth included me in their chat. That necklace would look great on you. Thanks, I'll take it, I said, the compliment warming me. Flirtation even, from a vendor. Beautiful smile to match the day. Blush rose to my cheeks, but I handled it gracefully. You're too kind. The anxiety was now a background hum, excitement dominating as small victories stacked, passing seamlessly, conversations flowing naturally, even enjoying the attention. Returning home as night fully settled, the apartment feeling like a haven, I reflected on the day's growth, confidence blooming, the switched body no longer a prison but a vessel for new experiences, blending thrill with residual nerves in a harmonious mix. The climax built to a head that Sunday night, the weekend's explorations culminating in a confrontation I hadn't foreseen but that fate seemed to orchestrate. I'd just returned from the market, scarf draped around my neck, feeling empowered and at ease in my skin, when the doorbell rang unexpectedly. Peering through the peephole, my heart dropped. Mark and 2 other friends, beer in hand, grinning. Surprise visit. We know you're sick, but we brought soup and games.
Mark called through the door.
Panic exploded inside me, tension heightening like a coiled spring. I couldn't hide, they'd hear me inside. 1 second.
I called, voice feminine and betraying.
Opening the door a crack, their faces shifted from joy to shock.
Whoa, who are you?
Where's Ethan? Mark asked, peering in. The conflict escalated in seconds, friends pushing in, eyes wide.
Ethan? Is that you?
What the hell happened? Whispers turned to questions, stares piercing. Emotional struggle peaked. Fear of rejection crashing like waves, shame burning hot, confusion over explaining the impossible switch. Tears pricked my eyes as I backed away.
It's me. Something happened.
I changed. Heightened tension filled the room, silence heavy. They gawked, one laughing nervously. Is this a prank? Makeup? Surgery? No, I sobbed, pivotal decision looming. Hide the truth, kick them out, or embrace this new identity. The struggle tore at me, but in that moment, resolve hardened.
This is me now. Eva.
If you can't accept it, leave. The resolution came swiftly, the empowering choice rippling out like calm after a storm. Mark stepped forward first, shock fading to concern. Dude, Eva, whatever happened, we're here for you. Tell us everything. They sat, listening as I poured out the story, the sudden switch, the fear, the discoveries. No judgment, just support, hugs, questions gentle. That's insane. But you look happy? Confident, one said. Laughter broke the tension, them helping me adjust the scarf. Confidence soared, positive transformation evident. I felt accepted, whole. Chosen family solidified, they promised secrecy, offered help researching the cause. Online, I found communities sharing similar stories, recognition warming. The switch wasn't a curse. It was rebirth, empowerment in owning my fate. Reflecting back, fate's switch forced me to confront my true self, teaching that courage in the face of change leads to profound self-acceptance. If life throws you a curve, embrace it. You might discover wings you never knew you had.
Be authentic, and empowerment follows. You're stronger than you think.